Hi and welcome to lesson 13 on the education topic, and this lesson we are going to focus on gender and educational achievement. So this lesson we're going to look at the patterns of educational achievement of boys and girls and look at who does well, who doesn't do well. So as a recap, based on our prior learning from the family topic and our introduction topic, how are boys and girls socialised into their gender roles differently? So how are they treated differently when they're being socialised? So have a little think about that for your starter. Again, as with all the previous lessons, feel free to work through at your own pace. So, how does gender affect achievement? So, if you look at the graph on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see this shows the percentage of students achieving 5 A to C grades from 1962 all the way to 2016. So you can see how previously boys started off achieving higher than girls. Girls have then overtaken, and then when we got to kind of the 80s, they very much started to kind of take a lead. So historically, boys have outperformed girls at all stages. However, 1980s, girls started to improve, and then by the 90s, girls massively overtook, and that's pretty much been the same since. However, not all boys underachieve, and not all girls, do particularly well. So this is statistically, but obviously this isn't all students. So, as a kind of, to get you thinking, you've got 4 different students there. You've got a middle class boy, a middle class girl, working class boy, working class girl. Can you put them in order of who you think will do the best to the worst? So feel free to pause this and have a little think about it. So this is the order statistically in which they would achieve. So middle class girl would achieve the best, followed by a middle class boy, followed by a working class girl, followed by a working class boy. So what this is showing then is that social class differences, what we did last lesson, are still generally more important than gender. So your social class, regardless of whether you're a boy or a girl, is going to outweigh your gender in terms of how well you're going to achieve. And obviously, the third category, which we've not included on this slide, would be ethnicity as well, and that will also have an impact, and we'll look at that next lesson. So, gender and statistics, what do they say? So, in 2018, girls outperformed boys in pretty much every single subject except maths. Statistics show that girls do better at boys in every stage of national curriculum tests, so these would be the ones that you have at primary schools. They do better than boys in language, literacy, are more successful than boys in most GCSE subjects, not all, but pretty much most of them, and are most likely than boys to get 3 or more A-level passes and achieve a higher point score than males. So your point score is basically like the better your kind of grades, the higher your point score would be. And girls are more likely to get a top first class or upper second class degree. So this is basically like the version of an A and a B at degree level. So girls do better then as well. Now, interestingly, when I looked at the GCSE historically results of Littleover, boys actually do better. So, if you look at 5 subjects, this was last year's results, so 5 subjects, students had to get 5 passes from a 9 to a 4, including English and maths. 80% of boys, in comparison to 77% of girls. Now, nationally, that is significantly higher. Nationally, boys do worse than girls on that. And if you look at getting a 5 and above, which is a bit more tricky, girls do slightly better. But if you could give some reasons, why do you think Littleover is different perhaps to the picture nationally in terms of gender? What is it about boys at Littleover perhaps that means they do better than girls? So have a little think about that. So subject choices. This can impact then in terms of gender and achievement. So choices of subjects still follow gender stereotypes quite a lot. So boys still take more practical subjects like maths, physics, computer and ICT, business studies, things like that, and are more likely than girls to pick 2 or more science or maths subjects. Whereas girls still are more likely to take subjects involving kind of languages or humanities. So like English, psychology, sociology, art design, they're much more likely than boys to pick at least one modern foreign language. Although, you know, the amount that people are picking foreign languages is on the decline. So this graph is showing the percentage of boys and girls taking A-level options. So in terms of gender, who is picking which options. So if we pick a few of them to have a look at, so you've got computing, obviously very boy heavy there, same with physics. Sociology is very female dominated. You notice this at GCSE, it's still more female heavy, but A-level it's a lot more so. Psychology, about the same. And then if we look at things like drama, it's more female heavy. RE, fitting in with humanities, is obviously more female heavy. So it does fit with this pattern. So, in your own words, what I'd like you to do is summarise what this shows. Why do you think girls and boys are picking those subjects? What influenced you to pick your GCSE options? What might influence you to pick your A-level options? Why do you think you might pick those? And do you think there are differences? No, sorry, rephrase. Why do you think there are differences in achievement? So why overall do you think girls do better than boys? What is it, which we're going to look at in more detail next lesson? Why do you think girls do better? So this is just the intro. This is the statistics part. Next video is going to be looking at the explanations for why this happens. So thanks very much. See you next lesson.